Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. Excuse me. Welcome to day 176 of the Daily Motivations for African American Success. Thank you guys. I'm fumbling with my coffee. Thank you again for rocking with us. Daily Motivations for African American Success, where we are coming together journaling through the book written by Kimbro that is titled Daily Motivations for African American Success. And if you've been coming, you should know. And if you're new, we want you to know that this is not just about race. This is not about the color of someone's skin, although it was written to address the mindset of those who are considered a lower class race, who came from a place of slavery, not just physically, but more so mentally, what the mental effects were and still are for people who look like me and look like, some people that you may know if you are not of a different race. And so we're trying to bring about understanding of that. I'm so thankful. I had a really good conversation with someone, a white elderly man yesterday, who understood what the reason that this book needed to be written, the benefits of it. He understood the challenges that some of us still face to this day of trying to break free of the mental woes. And some of us were not directly into it, but we came from mothers and fathers who came from mothers and fathers who were. And the generational curse of the enslaved mindset still follows us to this day. Different ways for sure, but this is what the book is about. And I shared the back of it where it talks about if there's any power that can reverse the fortunes. That word fortunes always amazes me here. Of race, it is character. So in saying that, we're not building the color of your skin. We're building your heart, your divine flow, right? Your spirit, man. That's why we're here. And truth be told, we all need that. No matter what color you are, we all need to build in our character. So that's why we're here. I'm going to say good morning. Good morning, Big Mike. Thank you for rocking with us. Great everything, great people, Miss Brenda says. And Auntie Richetta says, good morning, beautiful butterfly and family. Thank you, guys. So let's jump right into it. What they say, nothing to it but to do it right. Good morning to our YouTube people. If you're out there, say good morning, say hello, say something. Let us know that you are at the barbecue ready with your plate for this food. So why do we do this? What's on our plate? What are the things that we're putting on that plate? Daily Motivations for African American Success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead you to the achievement of your true goals in 365 short but powerful motivations, one for each day of the year. Kimbro, also the author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes, you guys, but also when to say no. And as we should always, when to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans, such as, but certainly not limited to, Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Gout, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. But what it teaches you should, I'm going to say this, the book says will, it should last a lifetime, right? It should last a lifetime. And the reason I changed this word this morning, because you have the will, you have to have the will to do the work for it to last a lifetime. So if you have the will, it will last you a lifetime. If you're taking more time, as Black Enterprise says, each affirmation in this valuable and thought-provoking book takes only a few minutes to read, but is worthy of more time for contemplation. Are you contemplating what you are eating here? Are you contemplating? Are you going back? Are you looking up things, right? Are you paying attention to your life? What's going on inside of you? Because, y'all, let me tell you, people are going through it out here. People are going through it. People are stuck, as we talked about yesterday. And Trent and I are going to do a show. Trent's going to interview that word, that compulsive behavior. That compulsive behavior stuck with me so much until it's like, we got to talk about this, because there's some people who are absolutely stuck, while the whole time we're serving a big God, a big God. So I've been in my prayer life last night. I've been in my prayer head this morning. And I'm going to tell you, before we even get into this, if you're looking for freedom, I think about Paul, sitting in the jail cell, being able to walk free. Y'all, God has the key to whatever it is you feel like you are stuck in. Not only does he have the key, you're already free. Free indeed. All right. So well, Brandon, I guess you're here. I don't have to read it. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I was going to get into today. Let me put some stuff out there. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having my voice is a little
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were
sore,
going to. Yeah. So,
but
yeah.
I'm okay.
Are you sure? I can read it, because cause I wasn't sure if you were going to be able to. So I can read it. Do you want me to read
No,
it?
no. I know you like to listen. You like to listen to this part, right?
I do, but it is what it is. I know we have
Okay.
to do what we have to do sometimes. So,
No, I got.
you sure? Okay.
July 25th.
All right.
Let's
Make
get
sure I
right
got
into
it
it.
right. Yeah, got it right.
All right. Better homes,
Wait,
better.
excuse me. Are we
Yeah.
going to try to do Instagram?
No, not today. Not today.
Okay.
I think we'll
Okay.
just go in through.
Okay.
But they know to come through to the YouTube.
Okay. And we do have some people out there, so maybe they just went on and did their thing there. Okay.
Okay, great.
All
Great.
right. Thank y'all for your patience and for, I don't know, just being so open to change, you guys. We just have to do better. And I'm talking to myself too. We just have to do better about first seeking God. First that. Because I'm going to tell you, that's the only thing got me through and continues to get me through. That's the only thing that keeps me here. And I can't say that enough. And as I continue to go out and just be amongst people, I'm like, y'all, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we not doing? And what can we do better? And I can tell you what that is we can pray. We can seek God instead of seeking a world who has nothing to give us if we don't first learn how to pour our soul into our spirit and know what that means. That means you have to be accountable for every deed, for every thought, for every action. You have to take accountability for that. You have to. Because truth be told, Brandon, what is it? What is it about? It is about you. Nobody else.
Yep. Yep.
Nobody else. And I'm telling you guys, nobody else. Don't keep coming here every day, especially you ones who've been here from day one. Don't keep coming here every day and not contemplate on what you are eating, the food that you are receiving. It is about character. It is about your spirit and your soul. All right, Brandon, I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm telling you,
No, you good. You good.
I've been in my closet. I'm just saying, I've been in my war room. So let's go.
All right, let's get it for the July 25th. The title for today is Better Homes and Gardens. better homes, and gardens. And our quote of the day comes from Barbara King, pastor, Hillside International Truth Center, who said,
Hillside. Huh.
there is only one source, the Spirit of God. There's no need to search any further. Again, there's only one source, the Spirit of God. There's no need to search any further. Philosophers, wise men, and poets are nearly unanimous in their conclusion that the ultimate goal of life is to be happy. Yet happiness, for most of humanity, is a butterfly that, when pursued, is always just beyond our grasp. Why? What is there about happiness, which is free to all, that makes it so rare? Success and happiness are often coupled as goals, as if the attainment of the first automatically guarantees the second. Not so. All of us know successful individuals who are miserable. I know a man who thought he could be happy if he accumulated $100,000 by his 40th birthday. This he did rather easily. He then set a goal to become a millionaire. Several years later, he did this also. Was he happy? Not in the least. He couldn't rest. He wanted more and more. It seems as if we are all seeking better food, better clothing, better cars, better homes, and gardens. Perhaps the ultimate purpose of life itself is the testing of the human spirit, to develop it into something better. The ultimate success of the individual, then, is not to be found in the material results of his labors, for entire civilizations have been buried in the sands and dust of antiquity, chasing the cluster goal, chasing the elusive goal. Success can only be found in the human spirit itself. Each of us has been entrusted with a fragment of that human essence to spark our own existence from birth to death. It's not what you have in your wallet that makes you special. It's what you have in your heart. And our affirmation and inspiration that we read at the bottom of the page says, you will be rich when you enrich the life spirit within you. You will be rich when you enrich the life spirit within you. And last time, you will be rich when you enrich the life spirit within you. Over to you, Mom. What do you think about that one?
Well, I've kind of already gave my spiel on this. It goes right back for me. I'll focus on, I'm not going to give too much because I feel like this is something we've been saying all along. I will ask you guys to think about, because our topic is better homes and gardens, right? Think about what it would mean to enrich your home and your garden, and sometimes the time that we spend on doing so. For whatever reason, we do not want to assess ourselves. We don't want to know what's truly in there, although we live it every day. So, what does it mean to enrich your life? What does the word enrich means to you? You take more time to contemplate upon it, to research. Because, y'all, I don't know if you even read. I was thinking about this morning. I take the time to put so much more out there for us to go back. Do you even look at it? And if so, what do you do with it? Not my business for sure. It's your business if you do or not, right? But don't keep going to the mirror, walking away and forgetting what you see and going back and continue to be who you might always be if you don't enrich your life, if you don't pour your soul into your spirit, if you don't go to your creator for the answers for life's most challenging situations in your life, right? If you're not doing that, then what is it all for? What is it all for? And why? What's your why? So that's the question. You figure it out. I have Enrich pulled up here and was going to say a lot more about it. But what is it to you? What is it to you? Why don't you guys drop some things in those comments out there that you are getting from this? Why don't you bring some food to the barbecue?
Mm.
Right? And I get it. A lot of you here, y'all up, Miss Brenda, Auntie Richetta, Kevin, KL. We have a lot of people listening from afar now. But y'all start talking.
Like,
Start talking. Bring some food. Because I can't do this alone. I am simply worn out this morning. Simply worn out. Spiritually, physically, emotionally. But guess what? I know who's not. I know who's not worn out and who can pour into me. But guess what? I have to be open. I have to first be able to admit and understand that I am. Right? So, what are we doing with this? Because y'all, I'm gonna tell you, evil is prevailing. It's like the sign I'm reminded by, and I was reminded of it again yesterday. Evil prevails because good people say and do nothing. We let people and we sit on the train track knowing that the train is coming. We sit, listen to that. We sit on the train track, hearing the sounds of the train. Boom, boom, get up, get off, wake up. It's time to take responsibility, was our message a few days ago. And we will sit there. Well, God's going to move me. God's going to stop the train when we are able and capable of getting up, wake up, get up, and move in the spirit, with the spirit, the divine flow, right? So, Brandon, I've kind of said all that I want to say, or probably need to say. So, I'll check the comments and turn it over to you, and then we'll get out of here. Latasha, good morning, Latasha. Good morning, Brand. She says, "Good morning, Brandon. Thank
good
you,
morning, cuz.
cuz." Kayla, good morning. So that's Kayla.
Yeah.
Kayla. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kayla, did you drop your business? She sent it to you. You didn't send it to me.
I did share it,
Okay.
but I did say, odd smokers.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
did look it up, but I wasn't sure if that was
yeah,
the right.
she said that you followed her group.
So it is right. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
Great.
hmm
Great. All right. So I'll make sure then I drop it in the link on Facebook, and you guys continue to do that. If you're doing something, if you have an idea, remember the message yesterday. The little boy came back and he understood that it's not in your hands. And if it is, it should not be. Set it free. There's an idea. There's something God has given you. And whatever that is, it's for somebody else. Let it go. Let it be free. Enrich that thing. Right? So drop your businesses out there, your ideas. We serve a big God. We have to be doing big things, not trying to get big things. Like this passage said, it is not success and happiness are often coupled as goals, as if the attainment of the first automatically guarantees the second. Absolutely not. Because people are attaining things every day, but they're still searching. They're searching, right? Over to you, Brandon.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mama. I think that was good. And this does sound a lot like the same or a similar principle that we reviewed yesterday. And I needed the one yesterday, and I need the one today. And so I'm sure you guys do too. Better homes and gardens. Uh,
Mm,
to me,
mm,
to me, perhaps the ultimate purpose of life. This is my favorite line in here. Perhaps the ultimate purpose of life itself is the testing of the human spirit to develop it into something better, right? And what could be better than the human spirit, right? its closeness to God and its maybe reflection and the glorification of God's divine order, purpose, um, and place. I think sometimes place we become discontent with the place that we're in, with the stagnation that we might feel like if a tree judged itself by the growth of the vine that climbs it, it would be different, right? If the tree was like, I stay in the same place,
Mm.
I'm not growing, the tree would be wrong. Being stationary does not mean that you're stagnant. And I'm reminded of the verse that says, peace be still,
Mm.
peace be still. So you don't always have to move or go acquire something or go reach a new height, a goal, or accomplishment. Sometimes what we grab, we always try to externalize um, our success and our attention, right? We're in a time now, and I'm speaking to myself first, y'all, that
Mm.
it's weird to be bored, right? We take our phones in the bathroom, right? We take our phones in the bathroom, the place where you know the dirtiest of things, the dirtiest of matters from what's in the air and smells and things. And we take those in the bathrooms. We wash our hands. We don't wash our phones, right? So we're not even willing to use the restroom sometimes without being entertained or on to the. It might be podcasts for you. You might watch a million podcasts, back to back to back all day, and our attention is always there. Or you might, listen to music all day, right? But there's never a moment of silence until somebody dies, right? There's never a time where we put everything to the side. And if you think about it anthropologically or just throughout human history, can you imagine if humans have been around for, you know, let's just say 300,000 million years, 300,000 to a million years, how much time did human beings spend introspective, right? Being in nature, not being completely entertained by something on their attention, but um, with themselves, right? Whether it be hunter gatherers or you know people doing agriculture, small agriculture and things like that. There was a lot of time where people were with themselves, with nature, doing something that gave them time to process their experiences, gave them time to process their emotions and to digest those, right? And to reflect. And I think the time for reflection is not leaving us, but we are leaving it, if that makes sense. Because we're not willing to listen to the silence. And we don't see any power in silence, right? And by silence, I don't mean like not saying anything, but in not having our attention be externalized, right?
Mm.
But turning those eyes inward, internalizing our viewpoint, our perspective, finding not what is wrong in the external world, but what's wrong in the internal worlds, the world within the world. Because if we change that, then that I think changes not just the lens, but our perspective, but our experience, and potentially our enjoyment, as you say, Mom, with life. You guys see what I'm saying? So the enjoyment, enjoyment. inward joy meant more than the external joy. And so, with that being said, better homes and gardens. Um, is there something in your home that was undone, that's been left undone? Is there something in your garden that is left unplanted, uncultivated, um, uh, unclipped, even? Right? What do you call it when you trim your trees and your hedges? Are there hedges that need to be trimmed? Is there grass that needs to be cut? Is there something like that? So better homes and gardens, take that time without your phone, without the podcasts, except for this one. And if you listen to this one out, we'll give it a pass. But without all of the distractions during the actions, take the action, but focus on the internal. They say that when you dream about your home, it's if it's your body, right? You're dreaming about yourself. How many people have dreamed about their home, right? If there's an existential threat to your home, right? And you wake up and you look outside, you think something's out there, or that could mean that you feel threatened, right? Is there a internal thing inside of your home? Or is there good? It could be good, But they say when you dream about your home, you're dreaming about your inner self, right? Your yard. If you're looking out the windows in your dreams, um, those are your eyes, right? And these are just, only God knows, but these are what, interpretations have been given for dreaming about your home and garden. And so I imagine that working on your own home and working on your own garden may have um, a one-for-one impact for introspection if we give it the attention that it deserves, right? So the attention and intention, right? We talked about that yesterday. So today, you know, love yours, love yours. There's nothing better than the life that you have for you. There's nothing better than the life that you have for you. So what can you do with it, right? And it's not always like you said, it's not always the attainment of the external, right?
Mm-hmm.
That gets us there to the joy and to the happiness and to the peace. I think I mentioned yesterday about the radio personality Charlemagne the God, saying that when he initially had that huge rocket of success, that's when he was the most mentally and emotionally challenged.
Mm-hmm.
Right? From him, speaking about how he had been molested by a female, a older female that was in her 30s when he was 8 years old. You know, and the impact of that, and him still knowing that woman to this day. Um, it was his cousin's girlfriend or fiance or something like that, or wife, and how he thought that being a player was the manly thing to do because his father was a player on his mother, and he was like, "Dad, what's up?" And he was like, "So you telling me you only got one woman?" And so what that did with his
Mm-hmm.
perception was he thought, "Oh, I gotta be a player." He was trying to prove his masculinity to his father, only for his father years and years and years later, after the reading of his second book, which is one of the books he was promoting on the podcast, which have to do with men's mental health a lot. Um, he said after all these years, his father came back and said, "Son, you had it right. You had it right originally." And so here Charlemagne had gone on this huge excursion, having 5, 6 girls and things like that, and living this life and chasing this thing and that thing and gaining no thing, right? nothing internally, nothing of substance. And he said that once he actually had his most success, he was having more panic attacks than ever, more suicidal thoughts than ever. And his book out right now is called you guys you know that 50 Cent line and album. I think it's one of the better albums of hip hop. Was called Get Rich or Die Trying. I don't know
Mhm.
if many of y'all heard about that. Well, his was a play on words with that, and it was called I think it's get I think it's called Get Truth or Die Lying or something
The
like that.
book, Brandon, or
Yeah,
that's the name of the book?
yep, that's the book. It's like Get Truth or Die Lying. I'll look it up. Um, let's
While
see.
you're doing
Yeah,
that,
get honest or die lying.
get honest or die lying.
By
Okay.
Charlemagne the God.
Who is it by?
Charlemagne the God from radio.
It is by Charlemagne.
Yep, that's the guy I'm talking about. That was on the Diary of a CEO podcast, which I love to watch.
Oh, I was thinking reverse that someone was on Charlemagne's show talking about. Oh, okay.
Him
So say that again. It's get
on
truth,
Get honest. I'm sorry,
get
or
honest.
lying, and it's a play on Get Rich or Die Trying. And his last book was also a hip hop reference book, but it was after his father read Get Honest or Die Lying, which recently came out. I mean, just recently came out within the last month. His father
Okay.
said, "You had it right, son. All those years ago, you had it right."
Hmm.
So I just thought that was interesting. Um, how the next generation helped heal the first generation, the generation prior. After going through his own stuff, Charlemagne was also imprisoned for a little bit because of him, following the wrong crowd, right? Because he was being picked on for being a smart kid,
Hmm.
wearing glasses, not being in the streets, things like that. And that peer pressure led for him to seek validation externally. Like if you can't, he said, if you can't beat him, join him.
Hmm.
Which I think a lot of, I've had that crisis in my life where it's like it's hard to be legitimate in an illegitimate world. You remember that, Mom?
Yeah.
A lot of black men hit that space. Maybe men in general, but I'm just speaking from my perspective of, wait a minute, you want me to do it by the book?
Oh.
You want me to do it by the book, but the book
Yeah.
is being thrown at me?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
sometimes by people who need to, it's getting thrown at you by the people who you love and need. Brings me to this, Brandon, as we're going to
as
work
we
to
close.
close.
Yeah,
Perhaps the ultimate purpose of life itself
yeah,
is the testing of the human spirit. I'm going to say it again. Perhaps the ultimate purpose of life itself is the testing of the human spirit to develop it into something better. The ultimate success of the individual, then, is not to be found in the material results of his labors, for entire civilizations have been buried in the sands and dust of antiquity, chasing this elusive goal, right? So success can only be found in the human spirit itself, right? I'm going to say this part. Anything, and this is just about enriching your life. Anything that you do will enrich your life. It says reading, discussing, like we're doing, talking, walking, running, exercising, playing, sightseeing, hiking, swimming. Just do something with ing, anything and everything. If you can do it with a partner, even better. With a group of like minded, how many times have we said that? Like minded people. Get some like minded people in your life. What's the like mindedness? In the divine flow, you guys, who understands the light, right? Walking towards that light, in that light, being that light, understanding that truth be told, it's about them, no one else. It's nobody else's fault where you are, who you are. That was one of the hardest things for me to grasp and understand, and just let it simmer in my life. But what it tells you, or what it does for you, is it allows you to be the responsible person for your life. Take responsibility. Because truth be told, the traumatic experience happened to all of us. It's just some of us choose every day to look inward for life's most challenging situations in our lives. Because if you keep your eyes and your ears and your heart outwardly in this world, y'all, it will bury you alive every single day. Every single day. The joy and excitement, Brandon, you mentioned something that struck another thing in me about the day that we were talking about my saying that there's not much that excites me anymore. And my brother, my brother was like, wait, what's wrong? No, you can't be like that. And so when I explained it, and when I came back to myself in it, that I understood that what I have is joy, which is totally different. Brandon, I think it was when you talked about we take the phones in the bathroom. We're always just doing stuff that doesn't really bring anything to us internally, right? We never really sit long enough to even hear the voice of God. So we're not in divine flow. We're not walking in the light, right? And so, in contrast to the path of excitement, which leaves you wanting more, which tires you, the path of joy brings deep satisfaction and a feeling of rest. Invariably, it calms the monkey mind, because y'all know we got some monkey minds, and it brings our whole being to the present moment, right? It says many of us have experienced this, if not several times, then at least once. And if we've experienced it once, why can't we experience it again and again and again? Because once you experience it once, then you know. Once you cook the cake or the cookies one time, you know the ingredients. So why? And I'm going to leave with this. I had someone say to me, a young man said to me, I need a spiritual father. And as I sat and thought about who could this spiritual father be, right? Imagine that, a young man needing a spiritual father in a world like today where so many men, we have a church on every corner, and another church behind that church on another corner. So what I'm saying is we have a lot of men and women who will say or think that they are a spiritual mother or father. But let me tell you, it goes deeper than you just being amongst a church. You are to be the church. Brandon said to me some time ago, it wasn't the suited and booted guys, it wasn't the corporate guys, it wasn't the church goers that pulled me aside and said, hey, young blood, keep doing right thing. Don't do what I'm doing. Was trying to get them to move right. So I'm going to talk to the men right now. You have a responsibility for a better home and better gardens. It doesn't start in the church and it doesn't end in the church. It starts in you and you having God in you, to where you can pick up on just by in passing of a young fellow that needs a spiritual father. But you can't be a spiritual father unless you are first a spiritual child of God, a spiritual man of God, and not just by words, but by your deeds, your action, your thoughts. I'm just sick of people saying, I love God. God is good, right? Let's not just be sayers. Let's wake up, take responsibility for the God we serve. Because we ain't doing enough. Me included, we're not doing enough. I'm walking by sisters, young girls who are so broken, who are broken most times because they looking for their worldly father, who might be the same father who's going in that church and not even talking to the daughter that God blessed him with. But oh, glory, hallelujah. While you got a daughter that you've not even talked to, how can you love God and you not even love your daughter? Right? And it doesn't stop with our men. Women, we are failing too. We shake our ass so much and we so busy about what we look like and all these eyelashes and glitter and glamour. You're beating your head while you're walking through the grocery store in your heels that you can't even walk because your feet are hurting. Your jeans are too tight. But you love God too. While your family and your children are not even your first priority. We got work to do. And we wonder why this world is like it is today. We wonder why people are committing suicide, right? We wonder why people are homeless, lifeless, soulless. Look in the eyes of someone and tell me what you see. Because if you have spiritual eyes, you see it. Yet we will walk away and not even say, hey, how are you doing today?
And mean it.
And mean it. And mean it. We don't care about the next person. Why? Because you don't care about yourself. How can you care? How can you love God and not take care of the you that God created? And if you can't take care of yourself, how can you take care of your brother and your sister? And I'm meaning just people in general, because I'm not just my brother's keeper. I'm my brother's sister. I'm my sister's sister. And if I don't hurt for her, then how do I hurt for me? If I don't hurt for me, how do I hurt for her? If I don't live for me, how do I help her live? Enough is enough. And at the same time, y'all, take responsibility, set yourself free. If you don't have a spiritual father, I'm going to tell you, you have a father that is always there for you, who created you, who knows every fiber of you, who knows about you what you don't know about yourself. Yet you don't have time to even sit on the toilet and let him talk to you because you sit with your phone, as Brandon said. You wake up with your phone. You go to bed with your phone. Your phone is your God. That man or that woman is your God. That job is your God, right? Those shoes, those eyelashes. But at the end of the night, when you look in the mirror, when you lay down in your bed, when it's dark, what do you see? Because I'm going to tell you who you cannot run from. You cannot run from yourself, and you cannot run from God. You cannot. That's why the battle is with yourself. You think you're fighting people? No, you're fighting yourself. Because there's a knocking at the door that God is knocking at you, right? On you. And it goes back to what we read today. Perhaps the ultimate purpose of life itself is the testing of the human spirit. So maybe your spirit is being tested because God requires more of you. Too much is given, much is required. And some of you are walking around with so much, your cup runneth over and your saucer too. But what's in it? And where is it running over to? Who is it pouring over into? You have a responsibility to wake up. Frederick Douglass said, my body you can have, but my mind you will never have. He took responsibility. All right, Brandon, over to you.
Thank you. No, I'm done. You just reminded me of something in the Quran that says that Satan is an accursed enemy to you, but a greater enemy to you is yourself, or your nuffs. It's called. It's funny. Like when you say enough is enough. I have a poem called Enough. Enough is enough, right? And enough means your desires. That's the Arabic word for your self flesh desires. It's nuf, your nufs, right? Your nufs. And so I would say enough is enough, right? Your it's an entendre saying enough is enough, like enough is enough, right? But enough or a desire is a desire, right? At the same time. So it just reminded me of that when you said enough is enough, and how we are filled up with our desires, with our fleshy desires, right? And not our
Amen.
spiritual needs. Do you understand that what I was saying?
I do. And thank you for saying that, Brandon, because I did not finish here where talking about the young man who said, I need a spiritual father. You guys, it broke my heart that I had to think so hard of a person who could be a spiritual father to a young man. And in searching for that, I'm looking for the characteristics of what does that look like, right? And I spent most of the night thinking about this. And my spirit mourned because of all of the people, and not just be a spiritual father. Again, you guys want to be like somebody who would be willing to give the time. It says a spiritual father is someone God has placed in our lives for our spiritual well-being, right? We should submit to them, give our hearts, and serve and honor them. In return, God will bring good to us through them. They're a source of life to us through God, of course, right? And I'm going to say this to the people who want people like this in their lives. And most times, God has given you a person in your life that He sent to you, but y'all got to be willing to listen. And at the same rate, we need more people to stand up and be spiritual mothers and fathers, aunties and uncles, cousins, friends, neighbors, right? Because God has planted something in you that someone needs, you guys. You need to understand this. Someone needs what you have to give, what God has given you, right? Brandon, you and Sella are big on gardening, and you think about how you enrich or improve the garden soil. In most cases, people use compost, and that's the stinky stuff, right, Brandon? It's a combination of all your scraps, your food. That's what enriches the soil
Or
that
manure.
grows the seed.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps the ultimate purpose in life itself is the testing of the human spirit. Let your compost work in your dirt. Stop thinking that life's supposed to be so grand and give you everything you want. You couldn't even handle everything you want. Take a look around you. People who are rich have more than they need are some of the most unhappiest people in the world. Because like the little boy came back yesterday in the passage with nothing in his hand. It's not anything that you can catch and keep in your hands. If you catch it, you won't even be able to hold on to it if your heart is right. You have to set it free. So set your mind free, set your lives free. Tap into God today, y'all. Tap into God. Brandon, let's close out.
All right. Well, thank y'all again, and Mom, thank you for sharing all of that. Better Homes and Gardens is the title of the passage today on this 176th installation of the In the Season podcast. Thank y'all for being here and rocking with us. Our quote today was, "There is only one source, the Spirit of God. There is no need to search any further." And our affirmation at the end of the passage is, "You will be rich when you enrich the life spirit within you." You will be rich when you enrich the life spirit within you. And last time, you will be rich. You can say it with me. I will be rich
I
when I
will be rich.
enrich the life spirit within me. I find it very interesting, and I'm leaving with this, that compost
Mhm.
comes from a composite of different things put into one. In the Quran, the word I think it's salsab in Arabic, where we get where the Spanish speakers get the word salsa, a bunch of different things put into one, like gumbo, like the West African word gumbo that we now know as things put in the same pot. That was a reference given to the creation of Adam, right? The dirt is a composite of many different minerals, rocks, things broken down into small little pieces. And that salsa was that which God fashioned and created Adam with his hands, right?
Mm.
So going back to that, you know, it says ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So going back to the home and garden or the soil or that composite, that stuff that seems like dirt to us is the earth, the same thing that we're made of. And so I was just thinking about the references of going back to our Edenic state, right? Our Edenic state and that purity of being, of the end of the day, saying this body is just dirt. But how glorious is it when God's hands fashioned it, right?
Mm.
And so, likewise, we can be, and I'll end with this. I promise we're gonna go. Angels, in my belief, angels have intellect but don't have desires. So they do only as God instructs them. You know, and this is an Islamic viewpoint. It's slightly different in Christianity. Angels have intellect but don't have their own desires, right? Animals have desires and no intellect, no deeper intellect. When a human being has both intellect and desire. But when a human being allows their intellect to overcome their desires, they can be better than the angels. But if they allow their desires to overtake their intellect, they can be worse than the animals. All
Say
right?
that one more time.
Sure. Angels have intellect, are created with intellect, but not created with desires.
Mm.
Animals or beasts have desires, instincts, but no intellect, no deeper intellect. While
Mm.
mankind has intellect and desires, when a man allows his intellect to overtake his desires, he
Okay.
can be better than the angels. But
Okay.
if he allows his desires to overtake his intellect, he can be lower than the beast.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
guys understand that?
Yeah.
So leave us with that. And this is a
Okay.
deep, like this isn't just, you know, logic. Logic, rationale is different than intellect, right? So I'll leave you guys with that in consideration of today. Work on your homes, work on your gardens, plant seeds, internal seeds, let them grow and reap the fruit. And remember, don't be afraid to go out on a limb. That's where the fruit is. All right. Love y'all so
Right.
much.
And you guys, if you would just take a moment, maybe right after, because we can get lost in the day. Maybe when we close out here,
Mhm.
5 minutes of silence. Five, just five. If you could do more, but no less. Just sit with yourself. No noise, no asking of anything from God. Silence. Just silence. Okay?
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all again tomorrow. Same time, same place, right here on In This Season podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so that you can know as soon as we go live. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Take care.